So guys, welcome to the stream. If you are watching post race, this is just a bit of downtime, get the stream sorted and ready ahead of tonight's race. And if you want to skip forward the intro, which will be just before qualifying, that's great. If you are watching post race, however, if you are live, just bear with me just 5 minutes before we get everyone in and sorted. I just want to get the links into the chats as well. So if you don't mind, just bear with me and we'll be getting started in no time, I'm sure. Ready for tonight's race. So just a quick reminder again, guys, if you are watching post race, do make sure to skip forward a few moments just towards the intro, which will be just at the start of qualifying. And yeah, so if you are watching post race, bear with me. If you are watching live, do make sure to stay tuned and we'll get started very shortly. Of course, not joined by Jamie today. He's had to take a little bit of a break, so apologies for that. You do have the displeasure of me, unfortunately, tonight. So it looks like we do have a full grid on show. Always good to see, especially in the Formula Racing League. Actually, no, we've got one spare seat in the McLaren, interestingly enough. So do let me know if my mic is lagging. I am going to be ordering a new mic very, very soon. So just bear with me with that. If it does lag out, hopefully it doesn't. Fingers crossed, we'll have to just wait and see. But if it does, I can only apologise. Hopefully it doesn't do it through any of the most important bits. I need to press spectate. But let me just check the audio quickly because I don't want the fan blowing too loudly. 1 moment. That should be alright. That'll do. That will most certainly do. Still just waiting for a couple more people. I do believe it is 7 o'clock, so we are meant to be starting. Of course, everything doesn't always run as smoothly as we would like, so just gonna have to wait a couple more moments. So again, just keeping, just waiting for everyone to join in really. But if you are watching, do make sure to comment, like everything of the BAM. And if you are interested, I do have my own personal channel called not Zach Sweeney, Sweeney Z. It's just Sweeney, and then a Z at the end of it, or Z, whatever you prefer. Do make sure to go check me out and support the commentators. But if you don't want to, perfectly fine, just make sure to like this stream. If you do enjoy the content on show, I do try my best for everyone. Hopefully we can have a good show on for us tonight. Looks like we are getting a couple of people ready up, so hopefully we'll be getting started very, very shortly ahead of tonight's race. So we are getting people ready up. So, hey there everyone, and welcome back to the Formula Racing League. Of course, if you may remember me from a few weeks ago, but if you are new, I am Zach Sweeney, and I'm tonight's commentator. Usually would be accompanied by Jamie Morris, however, he has had to take a quick break. Nonetheless, let's take a quick look back at last week's results. So the championship leader once again earning his stripes, taking the victory ahead of second place man Sem. The podium was rounded off by Jer, with the main championship contender very far down the order in P9. Nonetheless, we are here for the penultimate round, round 12, here in Shanghai, China. Coming into the penultimate round, we have the championship leader, Chapelele, leading the way. 39 points clear of Ginger, and Ginger needing to outscore Chapelele by 14 points if he wants any glimmer of hope on taking the crown into the final round. Chapelele has had a string of very good performances though, standing on the podium in the last 4 races, 3 of which being on the top step, and he's taken a total of 5 wins this season. So we come to Shanghai, China ahead of tonight's Chinese Grand Prix. 16 turns and 5.4 kilometers will negotiate a lap around this notorious circuit, where back in 2018 we saw a late pit stop from Daniel Ricciardo, which caused him to sail through the front runners and claim victory. First hosting a Grand Prix was at the Shanghai International Circuit back in 2004. It's come a long way since then. We have a desperate contender clinching at a small glimmer of hope to mount a title fight, and a composed, consistent champion with everything to lose. With one hand on the trophy, can he seal the deal? Who will come out on top? Will we crown a champion? Stay tuned and find out. We have a short qualifying session followed by a 50% race, and it looks as though weather is already playing a factor in what is such a crucial race. So it is raining. It's very, very wet out there, which in the bedroom you'd definitely like to see, but not so much around the circuits of the Shanghai International Circuit. A very difficult track to master in the wet, and I'm sure we'll be seeing some full extreme wet tyres being able to displace around about 60 gallons of water a second, or 60 litres of water a second I should say. Very different units of measurements just there, but nonetheless they are heading out onto the circuit. We have got Chapelele, the championship leader, the man with one hand on the trophy in the Williams racing car. You can see there on the extreme wet tyres. So of course you've got 2 wet tyres, you've got the intermediate tyres, and you've got the extreme wet tyres. The extreme wets obviously being a little more treaded, a little more better suited for conditions like these, where there's a lot more standing water on the track, and it looks as though we're only a minute and a half into the session, we've already had a spin on the track. But Chapelele having to prove his stripes, he's had to earn his stripes, and very good job he's done of that so far, taking 5 wins this season, as I alluded to in the intro. But just getting himself acclimatised to the circuit for the time being, coming through into turn 9 and 10. The double left-hander, very tricky to get the power down in the dry, let alone the wet. And you can see just taking it very easily, does not want to be starting outside the top 10 on his championship winning night. This could be the night he seals the championship. All he needs to do is finish within the top 3. If he finishes in the top 3, he's done the championship. Welcome to the stream, everyone. I hope you are here for a pleasant evening. Hopefully we'll see a dramatic end to the championship, or will we see Ginger try and hold on at some glimmer of hope. You can see most of the track is filled with cars. It looks like a lot of the field have gone out to try and acclimatise themselves to this very damp, very wet circuit very, very early on in the stages. Usually you see a lot of people wait towards the end of the session, but you can see these guys aren't waiting around. They want to get the experience, they want to get the bank laps in so they can build upon them. But here goes Chapelele then, the championship leader, looking to stake a claim and claim at the championship tonight. Getting those tyres a little bit warmed up, using the energy recovery system into the long swooping snail-like turn of turn 1 and 2, really utilising the engine braking and making sure the car doesn't push on away from him at the front, using the gears to rotate the car into turn 3. This is short shifting, just getting that power down, running a nice tight line to be able to straight line the exit and shorten the distance he has to travel. Coming into turn 5, just a little bit of a kink left before we end sector 1 with the heavy braking zone into turn 6. A big double front lock up then from Chapelele, who is under a lot of pressure. Out of turn 6 then, really tricky to get the power down. Turn 7, flat in the dry. Let's see how he takes it in the wet. A very long lift, but not coming completely off the throttle. Into the fast flowing quick flick to the right of turn 8, really taking it slowly just to acclimatise himself again to what is such a different track. Not using those curbs to full effect. Of course, they are going to be very, very slippery. The paint not holding water very well. Of course, with the track, it absorbs it a little bit. Curbs, no, they're going to be very slippery. A 59.9 to the second sector and into turn 11, chucking it into turn 12 before the long opening turn of 13. Very opposite to the likes of turn 1. Opens itself out on the exit rather than tightening. No DRS, of course, in the wet weather conditions, as that would be very dangerous. Drag reduction system, of course, opening the rear flap to give them an extra 20 kph of speed. But into turn 14, braking just to the 100 board, big lock up at the front, managing to get in it, stop nonetheless. Third gear to get the traction down. He is not taking any risks as Chapelele is looking to round off his first lap through turn 15, just a bit of a kink, and into the final corner of 16. Really trying to exploit the track on the exit across the line. It's going to be a 1:45.096 for Chapelele as he claims a provisional pole position. Of course, the first of anyone to set a time. It looks as though we have got Dan coming across to finish a lap. Let's see what he can do. He does go provisional pole. No, he doesn't actually. My bad. He goes at second with a 1:46.1. So just over a second off the provisional pole time. Rataka going into a provisional P2. He's in 1:45.969. McLaren, certainly a quick driver. And I've seen him in Japan do some very good job. So Kazizel as well, we saw doing it very well when I last commentated for you back in Japan. It was a few weeks ago actually. Hey my guy, Sweeney Z, welcome man, Dual Slab, nice to have you in the stream. But here's the Alfa Romeo, very, very sideways coming out of turn 15 there and into 16. He has got the Mercedes in front of him to negotiate. Across the line, it's only going to be a provisional P2 or 1:45.6, so it looks like the championship leader very much the wet weather master and proving his stripes in these harsh and treacherous conditions. Ginger, the only man able to stop the championship leader Chapelele winning, well, with the most realistic option of taking him. Of course, we have got someone else who is able to stop him, and I should have alluded to that earlier actually. I don't completely know. Let me see. So it's Quicksilver who is the man that can clinch the title if he is very, very certain of it. If he gets his head down and goes for it, as Ginger has invalidated his first 2 banker laps, so that's not going to be ideal for him, especially in his bid for the title. He's got a lot of pressure, he's got nothing to lose at this point, he needs to go for it, it's all or nothing for the Alfa Romeo, who is really trying to stake a claim for that championship, and I'm sure he's a racing driver, of course he wants it, we all want to win the championships, and hopefully he can make a good claim for it. But if he doesn't, then tonight is going to be... Here he is then, rounding turn 13. Very, very slow, just trying to set himself up for a lap. But Chapelele still unable to beat his previous time, and we're getting a lot more people filter in then. Finley and Jurgen both filtering into the 9th and 10th positions. Of course, it is wet weather, so everyone will have a free choice of tyres, so strategy isn't going to play much of a factor in today's qualifying session. We've got Rom on a very good hot lap here. He's in the AlphaTauri Formula 1 team with a pretty decent livery on the 2020 car. It's a little bit less so on the 2021, but it's still a very nice livery. It's a very controversial livery, it must be said. And here is FRL Ron coming through turn 15 to round off the lap through 16. Let's see what he can do as he hooked up this last sector to the best of his ability. A bit shaky through turn 16 for the man in the AlphaTauri across the line. Is it going to be in improved position? Yes, it is. 6 tenths up on his time. That's going to promote him into a provisional P7. We've got Khan 2.5 seconds down on his time. Certainly less than ideal and not what you want to be. We've got Rataka, who has appeared to improve on his time. He's gone back up into a provisional P2 with 45.4. Still 4 tenths off the poleman of Chapelele, though, the championship leader, definitely needing to make a win, and he will be the champion of tonight's race. And he's gone even quicker with a 1:44.778, so extending that gap even quicker. And Finley has retired from the session. Will go on board with the Zach Khan racer in sector 1. It looks as though Finley has completely binned it coming off of turn 4 there and into 5, and that is a very big slide, and that's going to be him out of this qualifying session only on a 47.2, which not the best time, and he definitely would have liked to improve on that. Must just be pushing that hard. You can see Khan here on a lap. He's been interrupted by the yellow flags just a little bit, so it won't be as quick as he would have perhaps liked. May have been a little bit distracted. Nonetheless, still going to be pushing and giving it everything. Anything can happen in these wet conditions. You're constantly finding grip. You're constantly finding time. You could definitely find yourself up a second. Only within a couple of corners, you can see up by a tenth. A tenth would put him up a position up into P5, toppling VRT Dan, who does currently sit in P5. Into turn 14 then here at the Shanghai circuit, trying to clip that inside apex as best he can and get as straight as line as he can, and really utilising that track on the exit. Very interesting line. Big squirm though from the Renault, who is desperately and really trying to push that hard, but he's into the pits, and of course for a new set of tyres, those tyres are not going to be doing too well. But I did miss it. Ginger's first lap has put him in a provisional P2 position, 1/10 off the original provisional pole time. Now sits 4 tenths back on what is Chapelele. So P1 and 2 in the championship, both sitting P1 and 2 on the current provisional qualifying grid order. So Ginger needing to outscore Chapelele by 13-14 points, if my calculations are correct, to beat, to have a chance and hang on to that hope into the final round. So he needs to win the race with Chapelele outside of the top 3. And Rataka and Kazizel both having a very good fight here for P4. Still 8 minutes left to go of the qualifying session. So anything definitely can happen. The Racing Point coming across the line. He's a 10th up on his time. That is going to put him above and well into the top 10. All the way up into P6. 3 tenths he found in that final sector. And that was a very good lap for the Racing Point. The number 95 labelled Racing Point, of course, newly named Aston Martin for the 2021 season, but Racing Point on the F1 2020 game. Up into P6 then, and a very good result for the Racing Points, who will definitely not be too displeased with that at the moment. Is Ginger on another hot lap? He was on another hot lap, but it looks as though he has ran out of fuel to be able to complete it. So maybe we will see him pile into the pits. That's exactly what we're going to be doing. Where Lewis Hamilton lost the rookie championship back in 2007. This is the main point where people talk about him bottling it. Went straight on into the gravel at the pit lane. All he had to do was finish that race and he'd be crowned the champion. And then he further lost it in Brazil, where Kimi Räikkönen took it by 1 point over the rookie Lewis Hamilton. And I do wonder what feats he would have gone to accomplish. Jer coming through turn 3 in the Ferrari and looking to topple the top 2 in front. He currently sits 2 tenths off the man P2 in the championship. Coming in to turn 6, he's 6 tenths down in his time and lost a lot of time through that first sector then. And this is definitely not the most hooked up lap from him. So through into turn 7, which will then flow into the quick chuck right of turn 8, which is then into the double left-hander of turn 9 and 10. Really trying to utilise that rubbered in drier section of the track. You can see very predominantly in the middle of the racing track. This is the racing line. This is where those Pirelli wet tyres have been displacing around 60 litres of water a second. And you can see it's very much cleared off that inside standing water. And also the under tray of the car, the floor sucking up all the air. Definitely does make an impact on the water on the inside. And that's a Haas very much round is that there, trying to follow his teammate through turn 13, but getting off to a shaky start. Up to 4 people watching, do welcome to the stream, guys. You are very much welcomed here, and I do hope you enjoy the stream. We're 30 minutes into the qualifying session, 5.5 minutes left-ish before we get underway for 28 laps of China. Jer, though, is he on a pretty hooked up lap? We'll have to just wait and see as he comes through turn 15, chucking it into 16, and he's into the pits, so he's definitely aborted that lap and felt not too confident on that. Quicksilver, the man P3 in the championship, has taken a very big gamble and gone on to the intermediate tyres. So it looks a very split decision for people, whether they go for the full wets or the full intermediates. And just from eyeballing it, you can definitely see that the track has definitely dried up a little bit, especially with all the displaced water being spewed out to the exit of the track. So it's probably in that prime crossover point between inters and wets, and I'm sure we'll be wanting everyone to be the last out on track to get the best track they possibly can. As the track is constantly evolving, the rubber's being set down, the water's being moved, the track's being dried up or getting wetter. You want to be the man at the right place in the right time, and Quicksilver just finding the exit of the track there. That's where he's not going to be on his flying lap and just testing the limits, it seems. As you can see, holding up all his ERS, currently sitting P8, the man in P3 needing to win this race or at least into the top 2 if he wants any chance of taking the championship. He's been a pretty good candidate throughout the season, but just hasn't been as consistent as Chapelele, taking 5 wins of these 12 races. Nonetheless, into turn 16 to round off the track and onto his final flying lap with 4 minutes left to go in the session. Coming all the way over to the left hand side then before chucking it into the wrong sweeping right hander of turn 1 and 2. You can see the Ferrari just nicely moving out of the way. Through into turn 1 then, nicely moving it into turn 2. You can see the AlphaTauri moving out of the way, really utilising the engine braking and third gear to really help that car, this front nose, really get turned in. Through turn 3 into 4, that little kink on the left hand side, and into 5, which is this little kink here. This looked like a pretty hooked up. He's only about 0.08 of a second down on his time, which he's definitely going to be wanting to find back. He's still got a couple more minutes left if he does want to improve. Through into turn 7. Bit of a break, so a bit of a caution break from the Red Bull there, chucking it into turn 8. 4th gear, 5th gear to get the power, hooking that curb on the inside. Looks like he's definitely dry enough to do that now. Into turn 9, 4th gear, short shift, very tentative on the throttle through turn 10, and then giving it full beams once he's done to this straight. That leads into turn 11. Braking there nicely, and he's set a purple middle sector, and he's 600th up on his time. So purple middle sector for the Red Bull there, definitely good for him. He needs an extra 9/10 to do so into this final sector if he wants any chance of taking pole position on these intermediate tyres. Very shaky out of turn 13. You can see the car in front of him, the Renault in front of him, warming up his tyres, and hopefully he'll move out the way. Very closely into the back of the Red Bull there. Very close for comfort, but braking just nicely for that 100-metre board. The McLaren of Geordie moving nicely out of the way as well. Runs a little bit deep and has to get it a bit back. He's going to get the slipstream of the Ferrari just for a little bit before having to cut back to the right-hand side. Chucking it into the final corner. Then you can see the championship leader out on his outlap. We'll see what Quicksilver can do across the line. It's going to promote him up into P6. 2/10 improvement roughly, and that puts him just ahead of his teammate Jules, who is also looking to improve on his time. 2 minutes 20, so about 2 more laps left to go of the session, as Safei has retired from the session, or has left the session in fact. Is that a disconnection or a rage quit? Who knows? Nonetheless, here's Ginger, a 10.5 up on his time. He needs to find a little bit extra through the middle and final sector, but a purple first sector is definitely a good start. Coming out of turn 6 and all over to the right hand side before chucking it into turn 8 or turn 7. And Jess still on the wet tyres, still confident they are the quicker ones, but into turn 8, here's Ginger. It looks like they all taking the very similar line, making sure they stick tight to the right hand side there for turn 9 and 10 to give them the best possible run through here and set up this nice sequence of corners so they can chain it up very, very well. Into turn 11, 6.5 up on his time. This is very much on for a provisional pole position, and Ginger, this is exactly what he needs. He needs these purple sectors now, especially as he's got another lap yet to go. Chapelele as well, coming into the final couple of corners to start his final lap. But Ginger just needs to keep it composed, needs to keep the momentum going into this final sector, which only lasts a couple of corners. So hopefully he can find a little bit extra time. He's only got 14, 15 and 16 left to go. 14 and 16 only being the real corners anyway. But into the final penultimate corner, Just needing to straighten up the car, and he does so very nicely, getting the power down really efficiently into turn 16, chucking it in 4th gear, hit that inside apex, run out, exploit the track on the exit, across the line. Is it going to be provisional pole? Yes, it is, a 1:44.1, and that just goes to show how quick that lap was and how much the track has evolved. So, can Chapelele do anything? As Kazizel as well has gone up into P2. It's an Alfa Romeo 1-2, a 1:44.5. They currently lead the Constructors' Championship, looking to extend that into the final round, but Chapelele immediately responds. He goes 2.5 tenths quicker into the first sector. Let's see how much he can improve. He just needs to keep it composed, needs to keep it calm through into turn 7. Very much giving it everything, chucking it in, taking a late apex to straighten it up and be on the left hand side for the preceding turn 8. Keeping it very nicely tucked in, but a bit of a slide through turn 8 it seems. Just needing to keep it composed. He's got everything to lose in this race. He's got 39 points buffer, which is definitely going to be working in his favour. Let's see what he can do. 5 tenths purple to the middle sector, 5 tenths up on his time. That is not going to be enough. He needs to find that little bit extra in this final sector, and let's hope he can do so through turn 12, which then proceeds into the long snail corner of turn 13. Let's see if he can do anything. Jules goes P6, the Red Bull not having the best showing. Still P6 though, a very good showing. And his teammate up into P4. Quicksilver giving the fight to the top 4 certainly, but here's Chapelele into turn 14, the heavy braking zone just after this long straight. Down the gears, trying not to lock up, trail braking really nicely, 2nd gear straight to 3rd to get the traction, does not want those revs overgoing him and spinning the rear wheel tyres too much. Into turn 16 then, the final corner. Is it going to be pole for Chapelele? Let's see as he crosses the line. Is it going to be pole for the Williams? It's looked like a very hooked up lap across the line. Yes it is, a 1:43.717, very good lap time from him there, but Ginger is going to respond. He's 2 tenths up on his time. Can Ginger topple him to pole? He's invalidated, and Ginger, would it have been pole? No, it would have just been off pole, but invalidated his last lap. Can his teammate do anything across the line? His teammate does pole. Kazizel with a 1:43.704 and just topping Chapelele there. Less than 0.013 of a second between them, and that is incredible stuff, especially in the wet weather. So the Alfa Romeo very much doing his teammate a favour, and if he can back Chapelele up into Ginger, that's going to be a massive advantage, as Ginger has to settle for P3, but he's going to be right next to them, and Chapelele in a Alfa Romeo sandwich. So this is probably the worst situation for Chapelele. Still up there though, and definitely going to give it everything to steal this championship tonight. See in P8 across the line, P6, and looks like we're just waiting for a couple of people to round off. 2 people into the pit. So Kazizel on pole position, followed by Chapelele and Rataka in the McLaren, toppling Ginger to P3 with a 1:43.8. So this pace has come out of nowhere for the McLaren driver to knock Ginger down to the 2nd row, well, the back of the 2nd row I should say, with his teammate on pole. Very close at the front, and will weather play a factor in tomorrow's race? We'll have to just wait and see. That's 18 minutes qualifying done. We're going to be heading to 28 laps of the Shanghai International Circuit in just a moment. So after what was a very thrilling qualifying session, Kazizel just squeezed pole with a 1:43.704, 0.013 ahead of the championship leader Chapelele in the Williams. He'll be rounding off the front row. Rataka in the McLaren P3 with Gingers joining him on the 2nd row there. He needs to make a good start to this race. Quicksilver in the top 5. Very good performance from the Red Bull Racing car. C in P6, Terra Racer in P7, down in P8, Ron P9, and Jerome finishing off the top 10. Symbol in P11, Jules P12, and Jer in P13. He finished P3 last time out, P13 for him tonight. Didn't get a chance on those intermediate tyres. Calm Racer in P14, Tim in P15, and Safel in P16 with Kyle, and a couple of retirements rounding off the grid for tonight's race. Let's see what people can do. Will be a formation lap followed by a 28 lap 50% race. Looks like clear skies ahead of tonight's championship decider. Just going going to be waiting for people to make them final adjustments, final fuel strategy and tyre strategy changes before they head to the grid. This is a vital time, of course, with parc fermé. You can't change a lot on the car, but you can change a bit. You can change the tyre pressures, some minor suspension tweaks, I'm pretty sure, and then of course the front wing. You can't change the rear wing. So obviously the angle will determine how much drag or downforce you produce, and with a lower angle, the front or rear wing is more flat, which produces less downforce but a lot faster top end speed, as you do have a lot less drag. But I'm sure they're going to be opting for a bit of a balanced setup tonight. Probably a lower front wing, maybe about 3.7 maybe around China. You want the front end speed, but you also need the downforce as well. So a very tricky circuit to make a setup for. Here we go then, ahead of the 5 red lights. Sizzle leading us away around the circuit. We'll get the tyres up. So who has opted for what? So it looks like the majority of the grid opting for the hard compound tyres, but with the exception of Ritaka, C, Khan, Tim, Safei, Kyle, all running the medium tyres. So they're confident to go mediums to hards. It looks as though the front run is going from hards to medium, which is definitely going to throw a spanner into the works, especially if there is a full course safety car out towards. But you can see, especially with the hard tyres, they're going to be wanting to weave around like snakes to get the temperature into those tyres, and probably do a couple of burnouts to get the temperature into those rear tyres as well. Chapelain eager to get himself up into P1 in the early stages. Can he run away with it? How is his pace in the dry here? It's proven to be pretty good in the wet, as with Kasizzle. Ginger, all eyes are on him. Safei has rejoined, luckily, to get himself back in on the formation lap. Hopefully it doesn't glitch the lobby out. So Nipro Racing cheering on Quicksilver, currently sitting P5 on the grid. So hopefully he can do some good stuff in tonight's race. Maybe get himself onto the podium, similar to how Daniel Ricciardo did back in 2018, where he won the race after a late pit stop. Let's see if the Red Bulls can replicate that. His teammate down in P12. So very differing positions on the grid for the two Red Bulls. Yeah, as you can see, very much weaving around like snakes to get the temperature into the tyres, using that abrasion, using that friction to get the tyres warmed up. Give them that prime and malleability so they can change shape and deform, to give the tyres that little extra too much grip. Obviously don't want them too hot, as they will deform too much, and as they'll deform too much and there'll be sort of too much change and they'll just slide as opposed to grip. So it's a very fine balance, and actually want to be looking for around about 85 degrees for the hard, or well, around about 90 degrees I would say for the hard tyres, as they are harder rubber. But this is it, just waiting for the final couple of cars to round the grid, and we'll go ahead of 28 laps of the Shanghai circuit. This is the championship decider. Chapelain needing to stay in the top 3 to have any glimmer of hope. Ginger needing to be in the top 3 to have any glimmer of hope into the final round. Let's see who's going to take it out on top today. Revving the cars up to around about 11,000. We're getting ready to go to the lights. 3 lights, 4 lights, and 5 red lights, and we're underway here in Shanghai, and it's a very good start for the championship leader Chapelain, who's already alongside into the turn 1, and there is Ritaka already challenging the pole sitter. Further back we had a bit of carnage, but the Alfa Romeo sticking the McLaren around the outside, and he's done a very good job of that. But there's the championship leader already into the lead of the race, and the McLaren under pressure from Ginger, who's eager to make up positions early in this race. He's on the hard tyres, he's not going to have the prime amount of grip, but around the outside he goes. He's on the outside of the McLaren, who is on the medium tyres. He should have more grip, but it looks like he's been a bit swamped. Can the Alfa Romeo get him to the inside? He's looking. There's the Red Bull looking to the inside as well. He's going to send it up the inside. Very much a lick it, stick it, send it, move. And this is Ginger getting swamped in the mid-pack. There's yellow flags through sector 1, but this is the last thing Ginger needs. He's been swamped. He's lost a position on lap 1 rather than gained, and this is not what he needs. He's got the racing point giving him pressure as well. He's going to set up a nice little cutback, very sideways though, and he's just about managed to save that, has C, but a very good start from him. He's already up into P6 and making some nice ground in this race, but Quicksilver up into P4, and that was an astonishing start from him to get ahead of the man who can challenge Chapelain in the championship. That one looking to have calmed down a little bit. We've got Finley going up the inside of his teammate. The two Mercedes going side by side through turn 11 and 12. Still side by side they go. Carl on the inside, and he's going to get swamped by the pass around the outside. See if he can do anything, but further back up at the front, it looks like we've got Rataka putting the pressure on the Alfa Romeo. He needs to have a good early start to this race. To the inside, has a little look. Going to tuck straight back in though and think better of it. So Chapelele's job now, he's got 2 laps until DRS is enabled, and in those 2 laps he needs to be outside of that 1 second range in order to try and sail away. A little bit of DRS to do so. So as per usual with Codemasters, we have had a bit of a timing glitch, which isn't obviously the best thing to happen, but nonetheless Chapelele is still in first, ahead of Kasizel and Rataka. Quicksilver on under pressure from is that Ginger there. Yeah, he's putting the pressure on and trying to stick with these guys, using his ERS very wisely. Of course, ERS, the energy recovery system, which is where the kinetic energy, of course, from the cars is slowed down by the brakes. That's converted into heat energy or thermal energy. That thermal energy is then used to charge a battery, which powers a motor, which gives them an extra about 140 brake horsepower. So it's a lot of an extra horsepower in these Formula 1 cars. And he's going to be using that to full effect down this back straight between turn 12 and 13, all the way down to turn 14. It is crucial we're going to see these guys stay together, though this could turn in very interestingly. But it looks like Rataka falling just that little bit off the guys in front, especially on the medium tyres. You'd expect him to be all over the back of him, but he's had a very good run coming off turn 13, and he's going to be in the slipstream in prime position to try and do it. Into turn 14, can he get anything done? No, not on the brakes, he can't. Just have to wait on this occasion. DRS wide open and Chapelele taking the fastest lap early, so he's got the pace early in this race. We're on to lap 3, so DRS is enabled. So the drag reduction system giving them an extra about 20 kph of speed down the back straight. Into turn 2, 3. Looping around into the kink of 4. We'll stay on board with the front runners. Let's see if anything is happening down at the back. Khan Racer is on the back of the Ferrari. Can he do anything? The Renault on the Ferrari to the inside of turn 6. He's looking very close. Jer to the inside, half-heartedly to the inside goes Khan. Can he get it stuck? Big lock up from the both. Bit of contact on the front as Khan tries to take the track away from him. Can't quite get the power down on these two. Looking to have a bit of a scrap. Khan on the medium tyres. You would again expect him to soar past, but the hard tyres giving it them all. And he needs to stay in within a second. Up the front though, as they do approach the DRS zone on the track. DRS detection point, then he's well within 1 second. Kasizel just about hanging in there, but the McLaren needing to stay on the back of him if he wants any chance of second place. Might just be wise to stick behind, but he's on the medium tyres. Kasizel to the inside. Here's Rataka all the way out to the outside. He's already committed, burning through his energy recovery system, and Chapelele giving the DRS to the Alfa Romeo to try and help him defend so he can feed them to the Sharks, and so hopefully they can battle and he can pull away. But it's not quite worked on this occasion for him. So Chapelele's tactics almost coming to fruition there, but not quite needing what he needs. But Rataka very wide, and he's already claimed himself a 3-second time penalty in this race. Goes to show how much he's pushing. He's claimed the fastest lap of the race though, but with 3 seconds of time penalties, it's definitely not going to be what he wants to claim the victory, or even a podium at this rate, because 3 seconds are going to knock him down a hefty way down the grid. So a Williams, McLaren and Alfa Romeo 1, 2, 3 with Quicksilver and Ginger languishing and remaining at the top 5. Ginger waiting the long game. He needs to stay with these guys. As it stands, Chapelele will be your champion. Just needs to keep it cool, keep it composed, keep it consistent as he has been for the remaining 12 races. And he will earn himself the championship stripes. Into turn 9, you've got Quicksilver all over the back of Kasizel, finally finding his pace, and Rataka now closing onto the back of the race leader, who is Chapelele. Kasizel falling off a little bit though, almost out of that 1 second DRS range, really trying to stay within it to defend from Quicksilver, because if he loses it, Quicksilver is going to fly past him, hence is his name, Quicksilver, I'm sure. Here's Rataka though, putting the pressure on Chapelele. Let's see if we can see him move the race lead. DRS wide open. He has got a 3-second time penalty to the inside. Is he going to go for it? Is he alongside Chapelele? It looks like he's pulled out of the DRS just to not close up too much. Wants to work with him up in front. Big lock up from the Red Bull, nearly into the back of the Alfa Romeo. Very, very close. We've got Jules looking up the inside of the Alfa Tauri. The two Alfa Tauris right behind him, putting the pressure on the man in front. Big slide, and there's a Renault off track, trying to get himself past the Ferrari once again. Khan looking to get himself past Jer up in front, but it looks like they're not going to be able to just about quite make the move stick. Further up though, it's very close up the front. Still very, very close up at the front. So we have got Rataka still putting the pressure on Chapelele. Turn 5 into 6. He's about half a tenth up on his time. Not purple. Big lock up. Not doing those medium tyres any good. As we are onto lap 5 of 28. Nearly a fourth of the way through. Or nearly a quarter of the way through the race already. Still no major incidents to account for just yet, which is always good to see in Tier 1. Chucking it through just about. Sizzle keeping the pressure on Rataka, then still an outside shout and still needing to stay with him. He definitely wants to win this race. I'm sure the pole man with the pace in the wet. He's fallen off a little bit in the dry. And then McLaren still wanting to put the pressure. We've got Ginger all over the back of Quicksilver, but probably in his best interest just to stick behind for the time being. Down into turn 14, then very late on the brakes from all of the drivers up in front. You can see a big lock up. There's a driver around further back. Is that Visser further back? Yes, it is. Coming out of turn 13, and that's going to be yellow flags through sector 3. DRS wide open for Ginger. Then it looks like they're all just sitting station in this little 5-car train, or even a 6-car train, all the way back to the racing point. He's just about sitting with him, so any one of these guys could take the win. Very similar to Austria, that long back straight does help you stick with the car in front very easily, and probably was keeping these hard runners in the race. We have got Tim Matz getting himself up the inside of Dan, around the outside, the inside through turn 3. The Haas still keeping his foot in there, but looks like the Ferrari's just going to take the track away from him up in front, and a very nice move to remain in P13. Looks like we got the race split into sort of a few groups. We've got the lead train, we've got the mid-pack train, then we've got the rear train. And everyone still keeping it sensible, keeping it clean, which is always what we want to see. And these guys never give anything less. And Rataka has fallen a little bit off the back of the man in front. Chapelele in front, just finding that little bit of extra pace to open the gap up to about 8 tenths now. So Rataka not having the best of pace in these middle stages of the first stint. DRS wide open for Quicksilver. Can he get the move done on Sizzle? Looks like again he's just going to hold station and conserve his energy recovery system, his ERS, for later in the race when he needs it. Big lock up from everyone once again. Those inside fronts going to be screaming for help, but Quicksilver is all over the back of the Alfa Romeo into turn 16. Could he launch an attack into turn 1 and 2? He's a lot closer. Maybe this is his chance to just go for it. He's got DRS open, but he hasn't got overtake enabled. Yes, he has got overtake enabled. And it looks like the Alfa Romeo in front is doing it to the outside of turn 1. Can he sweep around the outside and get the foot in? No, he's going to set up a nice little cutback because Sizzle has got that nicely held to and nicely under control, and he knows what he's doing to defend that P3 position. Rebel's still over the back of him though, and really putting the pressure on and really giving Sizzle a run for his money, as well as Rataka up in front, not being shaken by the championship leader. Definitely still putting the pressure on and wanting this race win, as Ginger very close to the back of the Red Bull, with C very close to him also. So C has got the best seat in the house. Ginger looking desperate to get past Quicksilver, made a bit of a mistake through turn 8 just to try and get it a little bit closer. And Sizzle looking very close, but we have got our first retirement of the session. Symbolics is out of the session, unfortunately, for the Renault, who decided to pull into the pits and call it quits in today's race, which is unfortunate, but very understandable if he wasn't having the best of races. So it won't bring out a full course yellow or even a very predominant yellow flag in this race, but here is Quicksilver all over the back of Sizzle with DRS and overtake. He's going to pull comfortably to the inside, as well as Rataka, who's getting himself up the inside. Maybe No, not quite, but Quicksilver up into the podium places and looking to charge after the top two, with the two Alphas now settling into 4th and 5th. Casizzle, the pole man, then down into P4, which is definitely not going to be what he wants to do, and he needs to find some more pace in this race to stay with the front guys and get himself back onto that podium. So Quicksilver, yeah, really needing to get himself back onto the back of Rataka, and 9/10 is the gap. He's about a second. Stay within that second just to stay with him a little bit more efficiently. There's Casizzle trying to defend from his teammate, who's taken a very much wider line than him through turn 1 and 2. Dan and the Haas again going side by side through turn 1. The Ferrari on the outside this time. Is it going to be the inside once again for turn 2? If he can get the foot in, no. It looks like the Haas is once again going to claim this position for P13. No points on offer, but definitely a nice bit of pride. There's Ginger up the inside of his teammate into turn 6. Very nicely done, and it looks like he's finally found that extra bit of confidence to get himself back into this race, and up into P4 goes Ginger. His original starting position, so 8 laps to get back into, and he really needs to try and get his head down to close on to the top 3. C as well on those medium tyres, trying to get on the back of a compromised Casizzle, who is really struggling in this race, it seems. It looks like the pole sitter isn't having the best first stint. Seems to recompose himself as the Racing Point tries to get a tighter line through turn 13. It doesn't really work out for him, unfortunately. Keeping into that DRS range of the two in front, and needing to do that, in fact, if he wants to picking himself up a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings as Quicksilver very deep into turn 14. We've got Terra Racer having to defend from the Red Bull on the inside. There goes Jules up the inside. That looks like Khan's going to follow him through as well. There's a hefty bit of front wing got swiped off there. I don't know if it's a graphical glitch or what, but to the outside goes the Renault, swooping around the outside of the AlphaTauri. Very nice move there from him, but he's picked himself up a 3-second time penalty. In the meantime, it looks like we've got a nice little 5-car train here for P7, it seems, in the Red Bull. After a shaky start, seems to have found his own and getting himself back up the field and doing a job of it, try and catch up to his teammate. So P3 and 7 for the Red Bulls, guys. Khan not going to give it up either. He's all over the back of the Red Bull. Can he get himself up the inside? He's got the slipstream. He's using all of his energy recovery systems. To the inside goes Jules into turn 6, squeezing him all around there on the outside. He's just going to take the track away from him as the Renault sets up a lovely little cutback maneuver, but he can't quite make it come to fruition. To the inside of turn 7, he's chucked up the inside. The Red Bull, though, just going to take the racing line comfortably around the outside. No risks there, and the Renault, if he was spun around there, completely his fault. So luckily, he managed to back out through turn 7 and into 8. The Red Bull taking no risks there, gave him a world of room on the inside. And to the inside, just to cautiously defend, he's going to have to be a lot of pressure down this straight. But Terra Racer and Khan both lacking a little bit of ERS. So Khan has pushed a lot to stay with these guys up in front. But has Rataka's tyres finally gone off? Just jumps up the front. He's got a 1.5 second gap to the light guy in front. And Quicksilver has very much closed up onto the back of him. So is he into this pit stop slap? We'll have to wait and see. No, he's going to stay out another lap. It could put him under pressure from Quicksilver, who's looking to move himself up into P2. Chapelele setting the fastest lap at 1:33.9, and Khan back up into P7 with Jules under pressure from Terra Racer, looking to get himself up the inside and around the outside of turn 16. Nothing going to come to fruition. We've got now a 7-car train for what is P7, or yeah, around about nearly a 7-car train. It's about a 6-car train now. Back up the front, Quicksilver on the back of it, down to 1. The point between the softs, the mediums and the hards, where the mediums are wearing and the hards are still wearing at a slower rate, and it looks like their pace has come to a bit of a crossover point where they've met. If you portrayed it out on a graph, it'd be the meet where they have the strongest correlation, so it's about the same pace now. And obviously constantly wearing, the mediums do wear a lot harder than the tops, than the hards do. Through turn 11 through into turn 12. He has got Ginger and Sizzle both there to pick up. It does happen. Expended most of his ERS as the man in P3. Man P3 also in the championship, DRS wide open. Can he launch an attack into turn 14? He's a bit far back. It's going to be a pretty audacious send if he does go for it. Closing, and just not enough on the McLaren up in front. Ginger as well, right up behind these two. Jules looking to get back up the inside of Khan. Can't quite do it. Big double front lock up from the Red Bull. have to keep switching between the two sort of 7-car trains. We've got one at the front, we've got one at the rear, but Rataka is getting done around the outside of Quicksilver, who into turn 1, very nicely done. It takes a lot of balls and a lot of courage to do that around the outside of turn 1, and he's done that brilliantly to take P2, and the McLaren eager to get himself back up the inside, but it looks like his tyre disadvantage and his tyre deficit just can't quite get himself back up the inside. Which definitely isn't ideal, but Ginger as well looking to pick up the pieces from that, really pushing hard, locking up the front right to get onto the back of these two, and Quicksilver set off to try and chase after Chapelele. Can anyone challenge Chapelele in this race? This is the question. Can anyone do it? Through turn 9. Ginger's still putting the pressure on, and Rataka still has a very good chance of launching it up the inside into the into turn 14. If he does get a good run, but I'm sure pitting rather soon. I would have guessed he's going to be pitting rather soon at least. Yellow flags reset to 1 and 2. DRS wide open for the McLaren. Can he get anything done into turn 14? Not quite. Looks like Ginger's going to be the closest one to launching an attack. Down the gears as quickly as he can. Yellow flags reset to 2 again. It looks like Vista just isn't having the race he would have wanted today. But into the pits does go Rataka. I guessed it right. He's going to be coming in, I'm guessing, for a hard compound tyre. While these guys probably stay out for an extra few seconds. So Rataka could be on a very good strategy here. He could go to the hard tyres. He's kept those mediums alive for a while. Could be going onto a nice set of hard tyres, get the nice undercut. But he's going to be under a lot of pressure towards the end of the race. We'll have to see how it does play out for him. 2 seconds he needs to catch on Chapelele, which is definitely doable with the fresher tyres he has got. Just be interesting to see what the front guys do, whether pits on lap. Very much a large field spread now. We've got this main group of people from P6 all the way down, it seems. Very much a conga line, one by one they go throughout the track. Quite seen, it seems, the Red Bull all over the back of the Renault. The two teams ending their partnership back for Red Bull in 2019-20. It's going to be Red Bull Limited on onwards. The two AlphaTauri's got Terra Racer and Ron, both putting the pressure on each other, and into team battle. Up the front as well, we have tense between the Alfa Romeo and the second place man of the Red Bull. Up to can't do anything on his teammate. Be close enough. Yellow flags reset for 1. Is lining the back of it. So again, Khan Racer is on those medium tyres and still setting some pretty good pace. So he could be extending these tyres as long as the hards maybe should shout for him. But we will just have to wait and see. Ginger putting the pressure on Quicksilver as well. He's closed up. Stands for Chapelele looking unstoppable. He needs to maybe just hope for a Chapelele mistake, which is very uncharacteristic of him. Through into turn 11 comes Jer, then he's all over the back of the two AlphaTauris, and he has been for quite a large proportion of this race, putting the pressure on. He's in P9 at the moment. He's got 2 launching the attack on Ron. It seems the AlphaTauri in front of him using the overtake to get the momentum, but with the and DRS to defend with, he's going to be launching an attack on his teammates to the inside really comfortably on Terra Racer, and very cleanly up the inside if he can get it stopped, which he does nicely. Looks like the Ferrari looking eager. He set up a nice little exit on the outside of Terra Racer, and he's going to be squeezed all the way to the outside. Can he go around the outside of turn 16? No, he's going to set up a nice cutback as Terra has gone in deep. He's gone compromised. It's going to be outside again for turn 1 and 2, but if he's brave, he can go for it. He's slightly ahead. No, he's going to back out of that one. Can see the position into turn 1 and think a lot better of it and play the long game. Okay. Again, with some very good pace on those hard tyres out of the gate, setting a fastest lap and catching up onto the back of the 2 Hasses in front of him. Or, well, I should say the 1 Hass in front of him, the Hass in front of him, of which he has to get past. Again, though, these guys still in this little bit of a tussle further back. We've got Ron, who sailed away with it, 8 tenths clear of his teammate already. Terra Racer, still no pressure from Jer, who's under pressure from the Mercedes, and then a further few tenths back. At the front of the field, we have Ginger putting the pressure on Quicksilver. Jer picking himself up a 3-second time penalty. But when are these hard to pit? We're halfway through the race already. So it looks like he's just going to be working with him at the moment, just trying to preserve the tyres, preserve the ERS a little bit. Here's Terra Racer midway through the track, doesn't really know where to go, going to commit all the way to the right hand side. To the outside does go the Ferrari, under brakes, can he get it done? Going to concede that. Terra Racer going in a little bit deep, double front lock up, and the Ferrari once again doing a very nice cutback on the AlphaTauri. He is going to be ahead into the final corner, and the AlphaTauri going to have to concede there, and Terra Racer back down into P9. So Jer now in an AlphaTauri, Salmon could say. Chapelet, the race leader, is into the pit lane, strapping on a fresh set of medium compound tyres to go the remainder of the race. So half the race on hards, half the race on mediums. Interesting strategy choice. Definitely just have to see how it plays out for him though. He's come out crucially ahead of Rataka, 2 and a bit seconds in front of Rataka to be precise. About 2.3 seconds ahead of Rataka, so those medium tyres still going to be playing dividends, and Rataka's strategy not working to the best of its ability. As Geordie has retired from the session in the pit lane, so our second loss of the race. On lap 15 we've got Geordie out of the race, who seems to have just packed his bags, called it quits unfortunately, but Ginger very much on the back of Quicksilver. Is this the lap he wants to pit? Is this why he's now launching an attack? He's got overtake enabled, so has the Red Bull in front. But is he going to the inside? We'll have to wait. He's going for it, he's got DRS open, he's got the momentum, and to the inside for the race lead does go Ginger. It's only going to be provisional, but nonetheless a crucial move to make if he wants any chance to win this race. Down the inside of turn 14, hitting a nice little apex and ahead of Quick. And the pit lane, yes. Quicksilver is going to stay out an extra lap, so going for and have the fresh watch and welcome to the welcome here, Jerome Visible. Quitting the race and retiring. Ginger into the pit lane. Where is he going to filter out? Where is attack? There he is. He's just about on the fire. So hard tire definitely coming in dividends, and he's got a car in between him past the McLaren. So that's from him, McLaren in front. Interesting to see when he comes out in front of Quicksilver. So he might well come out very of Quicksilver. Chapelet all over the back of FRL Terra Racer, needing to negotiate this traffic carefully but quickly. Looking to the inside, at the Alpha, give him the inside. Much better of it there, and very wise racecraft from the AlphaTauri. Through turn 11 into 12, and again apologies for any background noise. I just seem to have a very loud family, it seems, a very big one, a very loud one, and a dog who doesn't know when to shut up. But nonetheless, here's Chapelet all over the back of the Ferrari, looking not going to make his life too much of a headache with that one, and very cleanly up the inside and up into P5 on that occasion for the championship leader, who's looking to still hang on to it. Casizzle into the pit lane, and Quicksilver out for an extra lap, so he's maybe going for softs as Safei has retired from the session. He's brought out a virtual safety car, so Casizzle has actually timed that to perfection, has him. This virtual safety car really going to play dividends for him, obviously with everyone running around at such a slower speed. He's going to be coming out maybe right amongst these guys. No, maybe definitely going to be ahead of C behind. And that could have played dividends for him there. If it just come out a second earlier, everyone having to 40% race speed delta, of course, as you know, under virtual safety car. So just having to crawl around single file, no overtaking, and Jules really eager to get underway and going after Con Racer. But looks like we're going green once again. VSC ending, and Tim Matt's given a drive-through penalty for speeding under VSC. Chapelele just avoiding that drive-through penalty, having to brake just before the restart. But we're back under green flag racing once again. Quicksilver still leading the way ahead of Khan Racer, Jules and Chapelele, who are on board with now this three-way fight for a provisional P2 position. But once these guys pit, they're going to be looking pretty slow and far down the grid. But Khan Racer still on those medium tyres and looking very racy still despite that, and straight to the inside to Whiteline. He's looking eager to defend and break the toe. It's only going to slow him down a little bit more, but here's Chapelele on the back, who's looking on the inside to get himself up the inside of Khan Racer. They're going to be three abreast into turn 14. They're on the inside, there's a bit of contact, three abreast between the Red Bull Renault and the Williams, who soars around the outside of them both, and at the Red Bull holding station then in P3, but crucially in front of the Red Bull into the pit lane. Maybe no, it looks like Khan Racer in finally, but Chapelele wide position and around the outside. But Jules isn't going to launch an attack back up the inside. Chapelele having to defend. Here's the Red Bull to the outside, around the outside. Bit of contact between the two, and the Red Bull putting on a pressure to a driver he's really not in the same race as. He's still a pit stop behind the Williams driver. Maybe just making a bit of a headache for his teammate. But Khan Racer, yeah, onto the soft tyres. So he's gone from a medium to a soft. And this is a very audacious strategy to take, but it could definitely work out for him. And he's going to be very quick for the late stages of the race. So we'll just have to wait and see how that. He's going to be quick, he's going to be setting powerful sectors, I'm sure, but still Ron on the back of his teammate. He's got Rataka, who's looking, who's pitted again, in fact. Rataka, the man, putting the pressure on in the earlier stages. But yeah, has to pit again, maybe pit on the VSC, going for some quick laps towards the end. Maybe be hard to picture him making up the time once again, but who knows, we'll have to wait and see. Is the Red Bull going for that alternate Ricciardo strategy then? He's taking those hard tyres very long. Is he going to go for the soft tyres at the end of the race? Only logical thing to do, surely. But here's one on the back terrace. He's got Ricciardo all over the back. And let's have a little look at the penalty situation. So 3 seconds, 3 seconds, 3 seconds for Ginger. So that's not going to be the best thing for him whatsoever. That's certainly less than ideal. To finish the top three. So Chapelele will crash according to my calculations. To 5 people watching. Join on lap 19 of 28, just past the halfway into the pits. Two Red Bulls, two coming to the pits, strapping on that soft compound tyre. So it looks like they're going for pretty similar strategies. And here's Jed getting under the slower conditions as he's coming out of the pit lane. Went out in P12 and on this back of this very long train, so he's got everyone past all lined up for him and looking like he can take it in turns, get through one, get through the other, the traffic pretty efficiently. But Rataka get himself past Khan Racer, who's not making the most of these soft in his earlier stages. Can he get it to the inside? No, he's just going to sit back. Here's Jules through turn 8, 7 into 8, looking to get himself up the inside of Finley. Had a little look about getting the power down around the outside, but just thought better of it as Finley does run in a little bit deep. So it looks like Jules is going to be looking to set himself up a nice move into turn. Finley defending this. Yes, he is. The inside, around the outside goes the Mercedes. The Red Bull taking the track away from him though, and that's a clipped around, and Finley has spun into the wall, nearly just about saved. But Jules very, very aggressive, taking the track away. Turn 12, which I would say fair enough. I mean, he's on the tyres during, shouldn't really, Finley shouldn't be fighting at second. Right tackler on the first of the two Alpha Tauris, holding his nerve and very much amongst these guys, all on equal pegging. But Khan and Jules both on the soft tyres. Looks like we've still got a 5-way further. back into the race. Is returning to the outside of around the outside for P7. Can he get it done? Yes, he can. Around the outside, really utilising the engine braking around the outside of turn 1 into 2. Short shift into third. It's going to be the inside for turn 3. Bit of a lock up there. And the teammate of Ron is going to be looking to the McLaren through. That's his own teammate, but shaken. And the Alpha his footing on the inside. They're still going to be side by side on the run into turn 6. Up the inside, it was AlphaTauri. His AlphaTauri teammate around the outside. 2 by 2 they go. Noah's Ark, and the McLaren forced off the track there. Big shaky moment from Ratak. Between make all that progress once again, and Jules putting the pressure on him, and Ratak conceding that position to Jules. So it looks like we've definitely into fatality and into the wall, and big fatality. Who's going to be finding himself without a damaged wing, very luckily so for him, but down into P13, and not the ideal moment. There's a yellow flag through sector 1 and 2. Bit of contact between Jules and Ron as he gets past into turn 11. Very interesting stuff in the midfield then between these guys. Can't race it really all over the back of Terror Race, and he's really needing to get himself up the inside. Can he get it done into turn 14? He's got the DRS. To the inside does go Terror Race to defend his position. To the outside goes the Renault. He's going to be bold. He's going to be brave around the outside. Bit deep, but with the tires, he's got the grip to get around the outside into P7. And Terror Racer, more just a sitting duck. A defending car, very much up into to go. P8, who's still on the back of Car Racer, putting the pressure on. Maybe when those soft tyres do slowly start to deteriorate towards the end, looking around the outside, he's maybe to get himself around the outside. Bit of contact between the brother and sister car of the Red Bull and the AlphaTauri. But in this, can he get it done in turn 6? Crucial moves he needs to be made. Around the outside goes the Red Bull. Can he get it done? No, he's going to bait him in deep, get the traction on the exit, and he's done that very nicely. Got the car cut back very well into turn 7. It's going to be a bold move around the outside. He's got the grip though. He's going to keep it around the outside, keep his foot in, and a very bold move to get himself up the inside of Terror Racer and up into P8. Now he needs to chase it after the man from the Renault in front of him, stopping him from P7. He has got a penalty up in front, so he will take it nonetheless, but still be nice to get it on track. Quicksilver on the back of Kazizzle for the podium place. Now this is an interesting fight. He's on the softs. Kazizzle to the inside. Is it Vane? Nice little dummy from Quicksilver to get himself up the inside. Flicks to the outside, flicks to the inside. Left a bit of space on the inside. Because he's going to fight it through thick and thin on the exit. But there goes Quicksilver up into the podium place. And very nice move from the Red Bull there to get up on the podium place with those fresh soft tyres. So Quicksilver finally pitting, setting purple laps, and he's looking very quick. 3 seconds. 7 laps left to go in this race. Could be possible if he gains over a second a lap. We'll have to wait and see. But he's definitely going to be eating away at that gap very quickly. Already under 3 seconds. Down into turn 3. Pressure on Khan now once again. This is for P7. Very tight in the midfield, as it's shown all race. We've had very close range all throughout the grid, but most predominantly in this lovely little midfield battle that's been going on for the past 22 laps or so. Khan Racer still emerging out on top, but Jules very much still close with him. Chucking it through into turn 8, which is going to proceed into turn 9. Very much a very big patch of rubber there where everyone's been locking up, trying to get it turn and brake at the same time. But quick sub 1 second. He's already bringing the gap down by a second, and he's got some very good pace, and he could be bringing Kazizzle with him if Kazizzle can just mess of the man in front. But can't already to the inside to break the toe and white line it back to the outside. Doesn't want to be making too many moves like this. To the inside again to break the toe, to the outside again, and it's going to be in pointless vain because Jules isn't even close enough yet on this occasion, but it's definitely going to be a helping hand into turn 14. Very nicely hooked up then from the Red Bull, who's trying to stake claim for E7 in this race. List of whether it's passed or not, stays as it is. And Quicksilver, without a penalty, will get past Ginger nonetheless, due to Ginger's 3 second time penalty, but still nice to get it on track. And more importantly, Ginger's going to be looking at Kazizzle, who Quicksilver has very much brought with him. So Sizzle playing the very much long game, using some excellent racecraft to stay with Quicksilver, keep the consistency, and when Quicksilver gets himself back past himself, getting himself up the inside. He's duel on the back of Khan Racer, though a bit of a love tap between the Red Bull and the Renault as they exit turn 6. The two AlphaTauri still languishing behind in DRS range, so still putting the pressure on. Through turn 9, 10, and proceeding on the back straight into 11. Khan very much lacking on the ERS front. 4/10 is the gap to Jules, and he's not got a lot of ERS to play with. Straight to the inside to white line it, as you can see, and straight to the outside, weaving around a lot to break the toe. He's desperate to hang on, but he needs to commit at one point or another. It looks like he's committed to the inside, he's committed to the outside. Is he close enough? Looking for the inside. Jules not quite going to be able to get up the inside, unfortunately. Setting up a good exit. Can he get it? No, not quite. It's very unfortunate for him to not be getting past. It looks like he's losing a lot of time from doing so. 5 laps left to go in this race. Now 4. Oh no, now 5, but to the outside, definitely. He's done this a lot of times. Bit of contact between the two. The Renault's round, and that's Khan Racer very much spinning round and out of this race. Nearly, he's definitely going to be outside the top 10, surely. He's in the gravel and needing to recompose himself, but down into P12 is Khan Racer. Sticking it on the inside of turn 1. Side-by-side field, they're never really going to work. And Jules in desperation, trying to get it around the outside. You have to say it's more of a racing incident than anything, but very probably retiring from the session. So hopefully we won't see a full course yellow. But yeah, we definitely saw that, and well, the Renault, you know, you could say he did keep it on the inside through turn 1. You could say Jules could have left him a bit more room, but at the end of the day, they're both desperate for position. They're both racing very hard for position, and I'll just put that down to a hard racing incident. But do let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do let me know what you think, because who knows, they might report it to the stewards, especially in a race of this importance. But Quicksilver in the DRS of Ginger now. He's expended a lot of his energy recovery system to get himself up to this point. Onto lap 24, now it's going to be 25 as Chapelele does cross the line. Looks like he's going to be sealing the championship tonight. Cross the line, P3 for Quicksilver. Yellow flash was up to 1 and 2 as there was a Ferrari waiting. Looks like he has retired. It was VRT Dan. 6 retirements from this race. Not the best, but also not the worst. Still got 14 running. Turn 4, it looks like Quicksilver's on and in a Alfa Romeo sandwich once again. But Quicksilver's still putting the pressure on the Alfa Romeo in front of him. So it looks like these soft tyres are very much working for the Red Bull and really giving him a lot of grip, especially towards these later stages, and you would expect that. He's on 4 laps younger, softer tyres, which is definitely going to be giving him a big advantage, and it's been shown. He's gained 3 seconds in the last couple of laps, and really now he's putting the pressure on for which he will get due to penalties. But as I have kept alluding to, he is going to be getting it on penalties, but it's always nice to get it through earning it on track. And quick weaving around to try and follow Ginger in the slipstream to stay with him. Into turn 14, can he get it up the inside? Of course he can't. He's 8 tenths back, and that's just going to be an audacious send from that far back. It looks like the soft tyres though, it looks like their supreme grip is starting to slowly deteriorate and wear off as the tyre does degrade very quick. He's only got 3 more laps left of this race to go, as we're on to lap 26 of 28. And all Chapelele needs to do is hang on for the next couple of laps. He's calm. Through turn 4 into the kink of 5, which isn't really a corner. Down the gears as quick as he can. He's been so consistent as Quicksilver being stuck behind Ginger. And still just trying to show his nose. We've got Terra Racer on the back of Jules as well, who hasn't managed to extend his gap. So it looks like the soft tyres are now starting to slowly deteriorate, and their pace advantage is slowly slowly wearing thin. Unless there's a massive bottle, Chape will win the title now easily. Yeah, exactly. He only has a couple of laps left to go. He's now rounding the 26th lap onto the penultimate lap. So he has only got around about, it will be about 32 corners left to go. All he needs to negotiate 32 corners, 2 laps of the Shanghai circuit. And he'll find himself crowned champion. Is to keep the composure, keep it clean, not get any penalties or risk anything. And will definitely be taken tonight. And despite his best, P2, but Quicksilver is putting the pressure on him. It's turn 14, locking up from both of them. Definitely not going to be doing his soft tyres any good whatsoever. As we are now on to the penultimate lap of the race, 27 of 28. This is the penultimate lap of the penultimate round. Is this going to be the championship decided tonight? Is Chapelele going to hang on? Is he going to bottle it? We'll have to just wait and see. But Quicksilver still stuck behind Ginger, on, but hasn't got enough ERS to attack with, as Ginger does just have that much more than the man behind him. And don't forget, with medium tyres, Terra Racer to the inside of Jules, up the inside of the soft compound tyre runner. He's going to be cleanly up the inside, and Jules, despite his best effort trying to get it around the outside, isn't going to come to fruition on this occasion. So Terra Racer cleanly up the inside and into P7 with his teammate right up behind him. So we've got a little bit of a family feud going on, while the lone front Red Bull putting the pressure on for P2, which I don't think he's going. I think he's just going to sit back and claim it on penalties. Now that I think about it, have a look between and Kassizzle, so they're equal on penalties. Are Kassizzle and Ginger, the two teammates. So there'll be no loss or gain on that department. But it looks like Quicksilver's now going to be having to look in his rearview mirrors rather than attacking as we round off the penultimate lap and onto the final lap. Can Kassizzle get it to the inside? He's going to be pushing for that podium place as much as he can. That penalty is going to bring it all to a pretty quick end, though very sideways out of turn 14 for Kassizzle. And into turn 16, clipping a nice inside apex. We're onto the final lap of the penultimate round. Ron back up the inside of Jules, side by side into turn 14. Can Jules launch an attack again to the outside? Looking for it around the outside, releasing the brakes, trying to send Ron in deep, having to cut back, and Ginger has been disqualified from the session. So the man in P2 has been disqualified from the session, which is going to promote Quicksilver into P2 and Kassizzle into P3. So Chapelele, no matter what, is going to win the title, as he has only got a few corners left to go. So what happened to Ginger, I do wonder. Was it an unserved penalty? But Kassizzle up the inside into turn 6, and he's going to force Quicksilver very wide. So these medium tyres once again coming back into their own, and Kassizzle up the inside and up to P2. He needs to gain 3 seconds on this last lap, which isn't going to be what he needs. Ada, man, thank you so much. Great comms. I do greatly appreciate it, man. Love the support. But Chapelele only with 5 corners left to negotiate. Quicksilver trying to get onto the back of Kassizzle after Ginger's disqualification. I know, how is he disqualified that, Mick? Is he champion? Well, we'll have to find out. He's weaving around. He knows he's won it. He's loving it. He's weaving around. He's happy. He's celebrating. He's celebrating already. He's still got 2 more corners left to go. We'll have to wait and see if he can hang on. Imagine he gets a massive tank slapper, and then Kassizzle very slow on this back straight. Going to be waiting up for Quicksilver and letting him through. But Chapelele waiting up across the line. Bit of a showboating going on. It could have been. No, he started on the hard tyres, but Chapelele waiting up for him across the line. He knows he's going to win the championship. Here is Chapelele, your race winner and your FRL champion. Through thick and thin, that's going to be his 6th race win of the season, and the top 3 all finishing within a second of each other. And Jer, the man in P3 from last race, is now going to be across the line in P4 with the racing point so ever close behind him to claim P4 off, and a bit of contact across the line and in the wall. Ron and Terra Racer, the 2 Alpha Tauris, battling for the last 28 laps. Very close, and Jules just jumping on penalties as his Red Bull very maniac spin there. But the championship is sealed, it's done, and there's a flying racing point across the top of the Red Bull there. Do not know what's happened there. The best part about it is it's just turned around and carried on going. Gotta love to see that, but he just went flying across the front. Let me just see that on stream. Did you catch it on stream? He hit it, and then the racing point goes flying over him. He just goes flying over the top of the Red Bull. That's incredible stuff. That is. That's a flying racing point. It looks like they didn't copy the downforces effectively. It seems as though they put reverse downforce on. But just waiting for Kyle and Tim on the run to the line to round off the race. And what was a very exciting penultimate round with big well, not outright racing. Was still a good race, and Finley taking the driver of the day. Personally, I'm going to have to give it to Chapelele, because that's his 6th race win of the season. He's taken 6 of the 12 race wins this season, and that's, you know, every 1 in 2 races he's going to be have won, which is incredible, and he's still got an extra race to try and do it. But Chapelele, your race winner and champion, taking P2. The only man that could have stopped him after Ginger's disqualification, but just going to fall short and hopefully take P2 in the championship, because Sizzle rounding off the top 3 with C taking P4. Kick off final lap. Jet in P5, Jules in P6, P9, and Jurgen rounding off the top 10. Watake in P11 after a pretty strong first stint, but just fell apart in the second. Carl and Tim rounding off the finishing races. Khan, Dan, Safel, Geordie and Symbol all just DNF'd with race. So the championship contender race and out of the contention of the championship. And what implications could that have for the fight in P2? So guys, that has been the round 12 here at the Shanghai International Circuit for FRL, where we saw Chapelele take his championship finally after what has been such a consistent and dominant season from the Williams driver. He takes the race win and the championship. It has been a pretty good season for him. Season with a race win next week. Well, that was a great season this